on page 267, 268. And I ask you to do 13 to 34 all. So we'll just go through a few of these just to make sure that you've got the basics. I will start with number 16. And number 16 is a problem that we worked on in class a lot. They almost have the same denominator. Their denominators differ by a factor of -1. So if I take the first expression and I write it over, and then I take the second expression, which almost has the LCD that I'm looking for. If I remove a -1, or introduce a factor of -1, what I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. And that allows me to then take this denominator and write it as 3 minus 2x. Write it in the same order so that it now matches. So I've gotten the LCD, and I've made the changes that I need to make to the second fraction to make sure that it has the least common denominator. So what you can do is just write that denominator one time. The first numerator was 6, and I'm subtracting, and now I have -1 times positive 4x, so that gives me minus 4x. Let's say that's minus -4x. And so in the next step, that tells me that that's minus a negative, so that's actually plus. So now the problem becomes 6 plus 4x over 3 minus 2x. Now it's not a bad habit to factor the numerator and just see if there's anything common with the denominator. There is not in this problem because they have that, they're off by, they differ by the sign in the middle, and I can't do anything about that. So that becomes my simplified answer for that problem. Okay, looking at a problem like number 23, where they don't have the common denominator, the LCD for number 23 would be 12. So you simply have to change each fraction so that it would have the common denominator. 4 would need to be multiplied by 3, and then I take each term in its numerator and I have to multiply that by 3. 6 needs to be multiplied by 2, and then each term in that numerator has to be multiplied by 2. So to bring this together, my denominator is 12. So for the first fraction, I now have 3 times 1 plus 2x. My second fraction has a denominator of 12. And I have 2 times 1 plus 2x. And I need to use distributive property. So the first fraction becomes 3 plus 6x, and this is all over the LCD of 12. And then I'm adding that to 2 plus 4x. And then I combine like terms, so that gives me 5 plus 10x over a denominator of 12. And I have no common factors, even though 5 and 10 share 5. Even if I rewrite it in its factored form, I'm left with this. And I can't simplify that any further, so that is as simplified as it can be. Let's look at number 33 on the video. And number 33 on the video uses a little bit of geometry and a little bit of finding the common denominator. So in number 33, I have the back wall here, which is B. And then the opposite side is also B. And then placing these together, I have a over 2 horizontal dimension and a over 3 is a horizontal dimension. So that means the other red dimension would be a over 2 plus a over 3. And I'm asked to find the perimeter of the shape. So the perimeter of this shape, I have b plus b, so this is number 33. And the perimeter would be b plus b, and then I'll change to red ink. Then I have a plus 2, or a over 2. This is a over 2. This is a over 3. And then the bottom horizontal is a over 2 plus a over 3. And then combining like terms, the perimeter would be 2b, and then I have 2a over 2, and of course I'll simplify all of this, but just for gathering everything, a over 3 plus a over 3 is 2a over 3. And then the common denominator here, to write this as a single expression, the common denominator here would be 6. So the LCD for this expression would be 6. So I would have to multiply 2b times 6. I would need to multiply by 3 because 2 times 3 is 6. And then the third fraction would have to be multiplied times 2. So whatever you do to the denominator in order to give it the common denominator, you have to do that same step to the numerator. So now my perimeter, my new numerator here will be 12b. So I have 12b over 6 for the first expression. I have 6a over 6 for the second expression. And I have 4a over 6 for the third expression. And now combining like terms, I end up with 12b plus 10a over 6. And then removing what they have in common, they share a 2 on the top, leaving me with 6b plus 5a over 6. So the simplified expression to represent this perimeter would be 6b plus 5a over 3.